Hello everybody, this is the first video when we will talk about 3D features. The features we will talk about now, they create solid bodies. So basically we are talking about solid modeling. Most of the features are called sketch-based features, which means we need to create a sketch, then to use this sketch with some feature to convert it to a 3D geometry. The first feature we will talk about is extruded boss. For simplicity, we will simply say extrude. So, start a sketch on the front plane and draw a circle. Now, finish the sketch. As you can see, we have the sketch in the model tree here, and it's already selected, and you can tell from the color here. Now click anywhere in the working area. As you can see, the sketch is no longer selected. For now, select the sketch from the model tree, then select Extrude. What happened is that we had that circle, and now we gave it some height, which turned it into a cylinder. So, this height is 200 units. Let's set it for 100 for example. Now click the scroll and hold, then move it. This is how you can rotate your model. Click the space button and you'll have this cube. Now, for example, select this face. Again, and select this face. Again, you can rotate this using the scroll, click and hold, and then you can choose any face you want. So for me for now, I want it to be this way. As you can see, we have this arrow here which indicates the direction of the extrude. Like our sketch is here now, and this is the direction of the extrude. As you can see, this is our sketch. So, our sketch here and our extrude is to the right. If we want it to be the opposite, like our extrude to be to the left, you just click this icon. And it reverses the direction of the extrude. Now, select the draft and increase the angle. As you can see, we have a drafted geometry now. You can draft it outward by clicking this option here. Then turn it off, and now from here go all the way down and select mid-plane. Now you see our sketch is here, and 50 units are to the left and 50 units are to the right. Go back and select the blind. Now activate direction 2. As you can see, we have this arrow here with one end, which means direction 1, and we have this arrow here with two ends, which means direction 2. And here's our sketch. So let's set this value to 50, for example. So now we have 100 units here, and we have 50 units here. Now deactivate direction 2. And click OK. If you have a look here, we no longer have our sketch. Click this small arrow and you'll find our sketch under Boss Extrude. So, click our sketch, then Edit Sketch. then click again and normal to. So now let's draw another circle here. As you can see, SolidWorks filled only the enclosed area between the two circles. Let's go back here, and we are talking about this area. Now, exit the sketch. So we have some conditions to have a sketch that can be used with extrude feature. So the first thing, our contour should be closed, like in this case. The second condition is that we shouldn't have any intersection, like in this case. If this line intersects the circle, and now let's try to extrude this. As you can see, we have an error message. Exit, and you will have this message, and you will have a problem here. And it says the sketch contains an open contour. So, edit the sketch again, and delete this line. Now, you can use any flat surface as a sketching plane, like this one. So, select this surface, then select Sketch. Now, you have the sketch here. Click it, then Normal to. Now, draw another circle, something like this. And inside this, draw a center rectangle. Now, our sketch is selected. We are ready to click Extrude. And set this value to 50. And make sure that Merge Result is selected. Then click OK. As you can see, we used the flat surface to create this feature. Now again, select this flat surface now, then Sketch. Now since we can't see what is hidden there, go here and select Hidden Lines Visible. Now, draw another circle here, then finish the sketch. Now, go back and select Shaded with Edges. Make sure your sketch is selected, then extrude it. And set this value to 25. Then OK. So any planar face could be used to create extrude feature. In the next video, we will go deeper and we will talk about more options in extrude. Hello again. In this video, we will talk in more detail about extrude feature. For now, select the features you already created, then from this menu, select Suppress. Now, start a sketch on the front plane. Sketch something close to what I will do now. This is a good practice for your sketch skills. Now, finish the sketch. Make sure you select the sketch from here, then select Extrude. Rotate the view and set this value to 200. Now, as we earlier said, you can select any flat face and start a new sketch. In this case, let's select this one and start a sketch here. Change the view to hidden lines visible and sketch a corner rectangle somewhere here. Make sure not to exceed this line. Then finish the sketch again. Go back to shaded with edges, then start another extrude. So we already talked about the first option, which is blind, which means this extrude can be defined by entering this value. So now let's talk about through all. So once you have a geometry, when you select through all, this extrude will start here and it will end with the last face you find in your geometry. In our case, it's this face. So this is through all. Now you can select up to next. It's obvious that it goes to the next surface you have, or face, which is this one. Up to vertex. Later on we will draw some vertices and you will know how to deal with them, but for now you can select any vertex like this one, or this one, this one, this one. So you can select any vertex and you can extrude this rectangle up to it. Up to surface. Now you can select this surface, for example, or you can select this one. You can see how it takes the shape of this surface now. Now let's see offset from surface. So in our case we will select this surface and let the offset be 15 units. So what happens now is that this sketch will be extruded up to this surface. It will take its shape, but there will be an offset with this value. So now we have 15 units offset. You can increase this or decrease it. Let's select another face, this one for example, and define the offset. As you can see, it's the same. Up to body, we will talk about this option later in this course, and we already saw mid-plane. Now, these are the end conditions. So let's talk about some starting conditions. So let's go to from. From indicates the start of our extrude. Let's go to offset. So instead of starting here, I want to start 10 units away. And you can increase or decrease this, as you can see. More than that, you have a vertex. So if I need to start from this vertex, for example, or from this one, or from this one. You have also surface face plane, like if you want to start from here, then increase this. As you can see, the end face takes the shape of the starting face. That's why if you select here up to surface and select this surface, the end shape will be like this surface and the starting shape will be like this surface. Finally, we have sketch plane, which is the face we already selected to start our sketch on. In addition to that, you can select direction 2 and you can apply all these to it. So now we already talked about some options here. For now, select these two extrudes and suppress them. Start a new sketch on the front again. Now, sketch a circle. And draw a line. And draw another one. Now, this is a closed contour, but we have some intersections on the side. In this case, when you select this sketch, you can extrude it, but you have to come all the way down to selected contours. SolidWorks doesn't understand that you want to extrude all this since you have some intersections, but you can select specific contours, like I want to extrude this one, for example. So this loop is closed, so in this way it can be extruded. Let's reduce this to 50, for example. So as you can see now, we can extrude this, and you can select this, and this, and this. This is a very useful option. So now let's extrude this for 25 units, then hit OK. Now we no longer see our sketch. Let's select it from here again, then select extrude again. Now I want to extrude this by 35. Then select this contour, then OK. Then select the sketch again, then extrude again. This time I want it to be 45, and this will be my contour. Then select the sketch again, and this time it should be 55, and this will be my contour. As you can see, we created one sketch and we used it 4 times, and it could be more than that. So this is a good option, which means you can create one sketch for your drawing and do as many as you want extrude features. For now, select all these and suppress them. Start a new sketch on the front again, and this time I only want you to draw a line and give it a length of 100. Then exit the sketch. So when you draw a line, in other words, when you don't have a contour, SolidWorks understands that you want to create a thin feature, the one you see here. So this is our line. In this case, you need to define a thickness. So let's say I want this thickness to be 2 millimeters, as you can see. Let it be 1 millimeter. And you can define the extrude value like, let it be 100, as you can see. And here you can increase the thickness. Now we have some options for the thickness. As you can see, we have our line here, and the thickness goes to the right. So you can reverse this direction and let the thickness go to the left. We have mid-plan, which means 1.5 millimeters here and 1.5 millimeters to the other way. And finally, you have two direction, which means you can define the first direction, let it be 10 millimeters, which is this line up to here. And the other side, I want it to be 5 millimeters, which will be from here to this side. And all the options here apply the same as we already discussed before. as you can see. Now, keep this extrude feature, and let's talk about extrude cut. Select this face and start a sketch here. Now, sketch a circle anywhere. Then OK, then exit the sketch. Now from the ribbon, from the Features tab, select Extruded Cut. Now, let's define this to be 25 units, for example. Then select OK. What happened is that we removed material instead of adding material now. Again, edit the feature, and look here, you have the same options as we saw in the extrude feature. Also, you have these options which are the same, and you have the draft. And you can extrude cut in two directions, and most of the options are the same. As you can see, we have this cut now. Now, let's sketch a line and then extrude cut. Now, you should use thin feature, you should define a thickness, and then you should define a height. In this case, I will say through all both. This takes the extrude cut to the last face here and to the last face on the other side, like this. Again, start a new sketch and do something like this. Then extrude cut. By the same logic, we can select our contours. So I want this contour, and here I want through all. So basically, this is all you need to know now about extrude and extrude cut features. In the next videos, we will see some practice about them. These are the most common used features when it comes to solid modeling. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video. Hello again. In this video we will have the first practice on using extrude feature. So we will create this 3D part. As you can see, we have some views and we have the isometric or the trimetric view in the end. So for now, let's try to analyze this drawing before we start. As you can see, we have this part, which can be created using one extrude feature, and we have this part, this one, which can be created using another extrude feature. Now, this looks like a slot, the one we learned in the sketch, and we can place some circles here, and this part looks like half a slot with a circle here. We have all the needed dimensions. So let's start doing this. First, let's start a sketch on the top plane. As we can see, we have a straight slot here. For me, I will start with a center point straight slot because I want to stick to the origin and make a fully defined sketch with minimum steps. So now, I know that the center to center distance is 90 and this radius is 24. So, pick smart dimension and set this distance to 90 and this radius to 25 units. Now, we have two circles here and here. The first thing we know is that these circles are equal. Now let's go back and the diameter of these circles 25 units. So set the diameter here to 25, and now we have a fully defined sketch. Now before exiting the sketch, SolidWorks will fill the enclosed area between the slot and these two circles, which means we will have these two holes when creating this feature. Now the thickness or the height of this is 10 millimeters. So exit the sketch, make sure you select the sketch from here, then extrude this. It will be 10 millimeters, as you can see here. Hit OK to finish. Now we have the base. Let's try to create this. Now you see the front plane won't help us now. The top won't. The right plane helps us. So start a sketch on the right plane, then normal to. Now the view here is the same as this one. You see, all we need to do now is to create this sketch. To do so, select a corner rectangle and snap here to make a coincident relation, then draw this rectangle. Now set this line with this line to be collinear. The height is 50 units, so set this height to 50 and pick a circle, snap until you get the midpoint, then draw a circle and snap again until it touches this line. Now we need to trim this part, and this part should be a construction geometry. Now we have a fully defined sketch. We still need to define this circle, which is 25 millimeters in diameter. So snap to the midpoint again and draw a 25 millimeters circle, then exit the sketch. Make sure you select the sketch from here, then extrude it. Now we want this to be mid-plane, so it will be fully symmetric. Okay, now we had a mistake. Let's go back to the sketch. As you can see, we defined this distance, the 50, which is here from the center point up to the bottom. So you have two options here. The first one is simply to modify this to 40, or delete this dimension and set a dimension between this point and this line here, which should be 50. Then finish the sketch and everything will be modified in the 3D. So this was the first exercise on using Extrude Boss. It's very simple, very easy, and you will use it with many exercises. Hello again, here we go with the second exercise on how to use extrude feature. In this exercise, we will draw this part. Let's analyze the model before we start. There are many ways to start this drawing. So you can start here, then create this part. You can start here and make some extruded cut. But when you want to work on such a part, you should try your best to use the minimum amount of features. So for now, let's start with this part. We'll draw this as one extrude feature, and then we will draw this one. So go to SolidWorks, suppress these features, Now go to the front and start a sketch. So the length of this line here, the hidden one, is 31.75 in the back. So I'll start with midpoint line and create this line. So this should be 31.75. After that, we'll go up and we'll create the rest. So for now, just do the following. The overall height is the same, 31.75. So set these lines to be equal. And now this distance is 19.05, but be careful, we need to divide it by 2. So this should be 19.05 divided by 2, and we have a relation here, which this point should be vertical to this one. We only still have this degree of freedom. So this height is 6.35. So let's define this. And finally, we need to sketch a central line here. Then mirror entities. We will mirror these about this line. Now our sketch is ready. So finish the sketch and start and select extrude. Finish the sketch and select extrude. Now the thickness is 12.7. So set this to 12.7, then OK. Now, as you can see, we are done with this part. Now, let's create this part. There are many ways to start doing this part. For us now, we can start a sketch on this face and go up, but let's use something different now. For me, I will start here. So, select this face and start a sketch. Then normal 2. As you can see, we need to sketch this shape now. So the first thing is that these points should be vertical, and this length is 31.75. So set this to 31.75. And we have this of 6.35, so set this to 6.35 divided by 2, and this distance is 12.7, so the distance between this line and this line is 12.7. Now we have a fully defined sketch. Create a central line here, then mirror entities about this line, and it's very important not to forget to close your sketch. You can close it this way, or there's something new, or simply you can use convert entities. This command gives us projections over the existing geometries. Like we have this solid geometry. Now, once you select this edge and this edge and this edge, so these selections will be converted into lines like this. Now, finish the sketch. Now, make sure you select the sketch, then use extrude and go to from and select surface, and this will be our starting surface. And now, as you can tell, we don't have the value of this extrude here, but let's set it to, let's say, 12.7. So this will be 12.7 again, and then hit OK. As you can see, we only used extrude feature. Very easy, simple, and straightforward. See you in the next video with another exercise. Hello again, here we go with another exercise. So, in order to create this part, we need 3 extrude features. First, I'll draw this L shape as one extrude, then I'll draw this stiffener, then I'll create this part. You can think of any other start. It's all correct, but always keep in mind that it's better to use less features and less commands. So for now, let's start with this L shape, this one. As you can see, the width is 16, the height is 56, and this height here is 10. So, go to SolidWorks. If you still have this part, suppress it. Then, I'll go to the right plane and start a sketch there. So, this line will be 65 units. 56, sorry, I think. Yeah, 56. Then complete the L shape. Now this width is 16, and this is 84. And this is 10. As you can see, we have a fully defined sketch. Finish the sketch, make sure it's selected here, then select extrude. Click the scroll and rotate. Now, this width is 50, so set this to 50. Now, in some cases, you have to be able to see 2 or 3 steps forward. Like, I know later on I will need to create this. So it's better for me to have, let's see here, to have the right plane in the middle so I can create this stiffener easily. Or simply you can use the offset command inside the extrude feature. For now, let's make this as a mid plane. So 50, and here select mid plane. Then click OK. After that, select the right again and start a sketch there. As you can see, this starts here and it ends 13 units before the edge. So snap with this point, then snap with this line, then draw this triangle, and what we know is that the distance between this point and this edge or this point is 13, as we can see here. Now, since this is 50 and we have 20, 20, so this will be 10 now. So extrude, and this time should be mid-plane again, and this should be 10. Then hit OK. Okay, now let's draw this part. So start a sketch on this face. Now it starts from here, so we start here until this point, then this way, then go back, then go up again, draw an arc, and then connect it to this point, then close the sketch. Now these should be tangent here, and this height is 54, and until the center here it's 70, and this radius is 90. Finally, we have a circle here, and the diameter is 90. The last thing is that the width is 13, so exit the sketch, make sure your sketch is selected, and then set this to 13, but make sure that you reverse the direction here. Then OK. As you can see, we have the same drawing now, fast and easy, only using the extrude command. See you in the next video. Hello again, here we go with another exercise. For now, select these features and then suppress them. Now we will draw this drawing. As you can see, we have something very close to a cube, and then we have some cuts. So let's create one cube, then start to extrude cut these parts. To start, let's draw this face and extrude it this direction. So we have a rectangle with 75 units up and 64 units horizontal. Start a sketch on the front plane and draw a center rectangle. Now this should be 75, and this should be 64. Finish the sketch. We need to extrude this 88 units. So extrude 88. You can reverse the direction or you can leave it as is. Both are fine. Then hit OK. Now let's create this cut. And it's very important to pay attention to the direction all the time. So this face in our case is this face. So start a sketch on this face and then normal too. As you can see, this L shape doesn't go up to the end. So sketch something like this here. Be careful when coming here not to pick the midpoint. Now, this dimension is 15 and this dimension is 35. So this is 15 and this is 35. Now, this is 73. And this one here is 53. Now we have a fully defined sketch. Let's see the depth. So as you can see, the depth is 15 units. So finish the sketch and then extrude cut. Then this value should be 15. Then OK. So we just created the first cut, which is this one. Now let's create this cut. So select this face and start a sketch. And as you can see, it goes up to the end here. So basically select a corner rectangle and start here from this corner and draw a rectangle. Now this height is 38. and this dimension is 64 minus 16. So set this to 64 minus 16. And the depth is 25 units. So extrude cut this with 25 units. Then hit OK. Finally, we need to create this cut. You have two options. The first one is to start a sketch here on this face and cut it all the way here. Or you can start a sketch here and cut it down. I'll go with this option. Or since we already created a cut here on this face, let's go with this face now. So, start a sketch here and simply draw a rectangle from here. Now let's see the dimensions. So this height is 20 units. Now we want to set this dimension. Going back to the drawing here, it's not given, but you can tell that this dimension here is equal to this one. So this dimension is 88 minus 73. So we will set this the same. So this dimension here should be 88 minus 73. There's another way to do it. Let's do it another way. Let's delete this dimension. Now select the center line. Draw a center line here until you make sure that it's fully defined. Then create another center line here. And now make them equal. As you see, we have a fully defined sketch now. Exit the sketch and extrude cut, and the value should be 46 minus 51. So this should be minus 51, and then hit OK. Now, this is a good exercise on how to use extrude cut. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello again, here we go with another exercise. So for now, suppress these features. Let's start with this sketch here. For now, select the right plane and start a sketch. We need to draw this profile. So the first length is 70. So let's go with a horizontal line and let this length be 70. As you can see, the shape of the profile is this way. So again, now make this line vertical and just set some dimensions. So the overall height is 75. So let's set this to 75. Then this height is 13. Then this distance is 48. Now this height is 32. And finally, this width is 13, which is equal to this length. So this line and this line are equal. Now we have a fully defined sketch. Finish the sketch, and this value is 22. So extrude this to 22 units. Then OK. Now we need to extrude cut this part. So start a sketch on this face. And as you can see, it goes from here up to the end. So we'll draw a triangle, then exit the sketch, and extrude cut you can use through all. Then OK. So this is the first side. Now let's create this U shape. Select this face. I want you to pay attention to the direction now. So when we go normal, our U shape should be this way. So let's project a line here. Then go this way, and something like this. Now these lines should be vertical, and let's see the dimensions. So this distance is 13. And this distance here is 58 minus 32 over 2. So let's set this to 58 minus 32 divided by 2. And finally, this distance is 58. So from here to here, it will be 58 divided by 2. Now close the sketch. And turn this into a construction geometry. And drag this point. I have a small problem here. Now it's okay. Now mirror entities. I need to mirror these lines about this line. Now finish the sketch, and as you can see, it goes all the way up to here. So extrude, reverse the direction, and from this menu select up to vertex, and select this vertex, for example. So now we have it correct. Now we need to extrude the same part, this one, but this time it should be here. So let's select this sketch, then select extrude. Now from surface, from this surface, reverse the direction, and this value is 22. Now create a sketch here again and draw the same triangle as before. Exit the sketch and then extrude cut through all. Now we need to have this base filled, then we need to draw this part. To do so, select this face, then normal tool, and here it's important to go to hidden lines visible. Now start from this point until it snaps, then go all the way down until it snaps here, then here, here, then here. Fully defined. Then exit the sketch, go back to shaded with edges and extrude, and from this menu select up to next. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello again. In this video we will talk about Revolved Boss. It's the second feature in Solid modeling features. So let's start with a sketch on the front plane. Draw a corner rectangle and give it the following dimensions. Now, draw a center line here and make these points horizontal. Now, pick a center point arc and draw something like this. And turn this into a construction geometry. And draw another center line here with the same distance. Then finish the sketch. So when talking about revolve, the whole idea is that this sketch will make a rotational motion about this axis, and that will generate some kind of geometry. Let's see this. So go to revolved. Now select the sketch. You can do it from here or simply open this here and select it from here. Now axis of revolution. So for now, let's select this axis, and here we can define the angle. So if I set this to 90 degrees, so this rotation will be only 90 degrees. For now, let's stick to 360 and see the different situations. Let me show this again. So what happened now is that this section revolved about this axis, generating this type of geometry, as you can see. Now, click here and edit the definition. So instead of this center line, let's select this one this time, and notice the difference. So now, this section revolved about this axis, generating this kind of geometry. Now, edit again, and this time, let's select this line. So the same principle, the section revolved about this line this time. And finally, do it again, remove this, and this time select this line. Okay, now edit again. You can define the angle, so I want this to be 45 degrees, as you can see. So let's go back to the center line So now let's have a look at some options. First of all, grab this line and drag it here, and start a sketch on the top plane. Draw a line of 350 units. And now select a 3-point arc. Draw 2 arcs. And make sure the distance between this point and this point is 250. Then finish the sketch and extrude this with 150 but mid-plane. Then OK. Now drag this line again and edit this feature. First of all, you can reverse the direction of this angle by clicking this icon here. Now you can select up to vertex. So let's say up to this vertex. As you can see, the revolve feature goes until it gets to this point. You can select up to surface. In our case, it's this surface. And as you can see, the end condition takes the shape of this surface. And we have offset from surface. Let's define this to 30. So we have an offset here now. And finally we have mid-plane. And we are familiar with this. So when we say 90 degrees, that means 45 to the right and 45 to the left. Let's go back to blind and now activate direction 2. So let's set this to 30. So we have 90 degrees here and we have 30 degrees on the other side. Now finish the command, open this command and edit the sketch. Turn this line into a real line, then finish. Now we will have a problem because the sketch has multi-contours. So edit the revolve feature again and go all the way down until you get to selected contours. Now let's select the contours. Maybe we need only to revolve this part, as you can see, or deselect this and select this. So we apply the same principles as we did in extrude. But the main difference is that in this case we sketch something and we revolve it about a center line. So that was it about the revolve feature. Now let's talk about revolve cut. So now drag this line up to here. Select the front plane again and start a new sketch. Drag a circle and give it a diameter of 100. Extrude this with mid-plane to 50. Then OK. Now select the top plane and here when it snaps at the midpoint, draw a circle, something like this, and draw a center line here. Then finish the sketch. Now from the ribbon select revolved cut. So this is the center line and this is our sketch and the angle is a 360. Then hit OK. As you can see, the sketch removed everything in its way when it revolved about the center line. And here you can set this to 180, for example. You can reverse the direction and you can go through all these options. Now let's see some practice about these two features. Hello again. This is a quick practice on how to use revolve feature. In this practice, we will create this part. As you can see, we have a section view So we have to start with this sketch in the beginning. To start, go to SolidWorks and start a sketch on the front. Now, let's set this line. The length is 42 and the diameter here is 22. So I'll start with midpoint line. I will turn it into a construction geometry and then set this to 42. Now, draw a line and make these vertical and set an equal relation between these lines. Finally, you need to set this distance to 11. We set this to 11 because this section starting from here will make the rotation, so we need to divide all the values of the diameters. Now, let's try to sketch this profile. So we'll go this way. Something like this. Now, this diameter is 38. And we have this width, which is 10 units. So we will set a distance between the origin and this line to 5 units. Now, the biggest diameter is 100. Now drag these again. And we have this diameter, which is 94. Between this point and this line. And we have an angle here, which is 97.96. Finally, we need to set this relation, make these vertical, and this point should always be vertical with this one. In the end, just pick a center line, connect these, then mirror and select all these and mirror them about this center line. Click here again and select the missing one, then hit OK. Now we have a fully defined sketch. We still need to define some radiuses here. It's not indicated in the drawing, so let's set them. Let's see. Let's say 10. It's too big, so let it be 2 units and do it here and here and here. Then OK. Now finish the command, finish the sketch and select. Make sure your sketch is selected here, then revolve, and the center line will be this one. (360), then OK. Now there's a nice feature in SolidWorks. You can select section view. Now your reference for the section will be one of the datum planes. Like this one is the front, and you can flip it like this, and now this one is the top and this one is the right. So let's stick to the front one, and you can drag these and you can rotate the view, and you can rotate it this way too. For now, go here and go back to the front again and hit OK, and you have your section view. Hit the space button and select this face, for example. As you can see, we have the same sketch. This was a quick exercise on how to use Revolve feature. This was a quick exercise on how to use Extrude feature. In the coming video, we will do something that needs Extrude feature and Revolve feature together. Hello again with the second exercise. For now, exit the section view and suppress this feature. In this video, we will create this part. As you can see, let's try to analyze this model. So from this line up to this line, as you can see, we can create a revolved feature here. Then we can create an extruded feature and another one here. And finally, we can create this part and this part by using extrude. Start a sketch on the front plane. As you can see, we have a radius of 260. It needs some good imagination here. So draw a line and give it this dimension. We have this diameter, which is 210, and another diameter of 290. So set these diameters here. Now set another center line and finish the sketch. Now these circles will make a revolve about this line, creating this part from here to here. As you can tell, the angle is 90. So let's select the sketch, then select revolve, and this will be our center line, and let's set this to 90. Then okay. Let's go this way and let's check the section view, change the plane, and we have the same thing here. Now we need to extrude this with 150 units here and 150 units here. So exit the section view. Now we need to select this face to start a new sketch and simply select convert entities and convert this circle and this one. Then finish the sketch and extrude this to 150. Let's create this part. So we have a square of 360 by 360 here, and the thickness is 50. So select this face and start a new sketch, and now select a center rectangle. Move the mouse here until you get the center point of this circle and draw your square. First, make these equal, then set this dimension to 360. Now let's place some holes. As you can see, we have some through holes, and this one is 30 units diameter. So for now, we need a big hole here, then place a circle here and another one here and another one here. The first thing is that they are all equal, and then give the first one a diameter. And let's go back here and see the distance between the first two is 260. So first of all, these should be always vertical, and this distance should be 260, and finally this distance should be 50. And it's the same here, so this distance too should be 50. Now these two are horizontal, and these, since we have a square, so this is a special case where the center point of this circle lies on this line. So you can simply now just drag it until it snaps and create a coincident relation, and you can do the same here. Now, as you can see, we have some radius here, which is 20. So let's fillet these, set the radius to 20, and select these corners. Finish the command, finish the sketch, and extrude this to 50 units. Make sure to select the right direction, which is downwards. I made a mistake. Edit definition. This should be 50. Now, let's do the same here. So select this face, then convert entities, convert this and this, then finish and extrude this to 150, then OK. Now, instead of drawing the whole thing again, let's do something different this time. So now I'll go back to this sketch, select this sketch, and go here to edit and select copy. So basically, I copied the sketch itself. Now, select this face, start a new sketch, and now from the menu select paste. We have the sketch here, but we don't have relations, so you need to drag it as a one unit. So select move entities and select the whole thing here. Then our start point will be the center point, then move it up to here. As you can see, we need to move it until we snap to the center. Then hit OK. You can redefine the relations now. Ctrl Z. You can define the relations and the dimensions, but for time saving I will just exit the sketch now and extrude this the other way to 50 units. As you can see, we have a chamfer here. We can do it using a chamfer feature in the 3D from here, but for now let's do it using revolved cut feature. So select the top plane and start a sketch there, and make sure you have the view as hidden lines visible. Pick a line. When it snaps here, move the mouse and set this value to 10. Now draw something like this and set these to be equal. Now you have a fully defined sketch. Now move the mouse until you get the midpoint. It's very important to get the midpoint, not coincident here. Once you have it, draw a center line, finish the sketch, go back to shade it with edges, and this time select Revolved Cut. 360, then you're okay. As you can see, we have this cut here. Now we can do the same again. And instead of doing it the same, let's go here and select chamfer. It's almost the same as we did in the sketch environment. So I'll set this value to 10. The angle is 45 degrees. All you need to do here is to select an edge. So in this case, this will be our edge, and then OK. Finally, we have these circles. The depth is 10 and the diameter is 60. So start a sketch on this face. Since this one is 30 and the big one is 60, so the offset between them will be 15. So select offset entities and set this to 15. Then offset this. And again. Do it again. And here. Now finish the sketch and extrude cut these to 10 units. You can do it the same way here. Finally, we have some fillets here, like in this corner, this one, and this one, and this one. The value is 10 millimeters. To do so, go to the top view, start a sketch, and from here select perimeter circle, select this line, and select this line, and draw something like this. Now, select Convert Entities, select this edge and this edge, then OK. Then trim this and set this value to 10. As you can see, we don't have a tangency here, so we can define it again. So this arc and this line should be tangent. And we have the same problem here. So this and this should be tangent again. Now trim this segment and this one, and finally this one. Now define a center line and make sure it's on the midpoint. Something like this. Finish the sketch and revolve. Then this will be our center line. Then OK. As you can see, we have this fillet. You can easily do it by selecting fillet from here and make sure you select the first type and then set the value to 10 here. Then select this edge. Then OK. This was a good practice on how to use revolve, revolved cut, extrude, and extrude cut. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Hello again. In this video we will talk about a swept pass, also swept cut. So simply we need to draw a path. So select the front plane and let's draw something like this. With any dimensions you want. So this will be our path. I want you to imagine now a circle here and imagine that it's moving along this path, and while moving it will create some geometry. So for now we need to sketch this circle we talked about or any other section. So we need a plane that is perpendicular to the one we used. So since we used the front, now we should use the right. Let me show these planes so you know what I'm talking about exactly. So this is the plane of the path, and now our section should be perpendicular on this. So it should be on the right plane. So select the right plane and start a sketch. And for example, let's start with a rectangle and make sure it's not crazy big, something like this, something that makes sense with the size of the path. Now finish the sketch and hide the planes. Now we have the path and we have the section. Go to swept path. Now you can see here from this icon, you can see we need to define the profile, and here we need to define the path. So our profile will be this sketch and our path will be this sketch. So what happened now is that this rectangle walked all the way along this path, and while moving it created this geometry. Now finish the sketch. Finish the command. Go back, and as you can see now, we have the two sketches we created under the sweep command. So let's say we need to modify our section or profile. So now I'll create something like this. So what will happen now is that SolidWorks will fill the enclosed area between these two sketches. Now finish the sketch and notice the difference. Activate the section view, and here we go. Now exit the sketch and go back and edit the profile. Now delete the profile and draw something here. Then finish. I want you to show this sketch now. So what happened is that since there is some offset between the profile and the path, we always start the feature from the location of the profile, not the path. But the only thing is that in this case, this path influences the shape of this geometry. So if we see this view, we have our profile here and our path is here, but the geometry started with the location of the profile, not the path itself, but it got influenced by this shape, as you can see. For now, suppress this feature, open it, and suppress these sketches. Now again, go to the right plane and start a sketch. Let's say I want to draw a rectangle and give it a dimension of 300 by 200. Then exit. Now you can go to swept path, and in this case I want to create a circular profile. So here let's delete this and select this option, circular profile. So my path will be this sketch, and here you can define the diameter. So let this be 50 for example. And now you can see we don't need to define a circular path. You can just use it inside this swept path feature. Now if we have a section view, as you can see, we have a solid body. It's filled from inside. Now, suppress this feature again and go to the front. I want you this time to draw a rectangle and give it the following dimensions. Now extrude this to 100. Then again, on this face, sketch something like this. Now, start a sketch on this face. And draw something like this. Now select Swept Cut. So our profile will be this sketch and our path will be this sketch. Then finish. As you can see, we already cut some material using Swept Cut. Edit the definition of this again, and this time select Circular Profile. And you can see you can increase the diameter, then finish. So for now, this is all you need to know about Swept and the Swept Cut feature. See you in the next video with some application on this feature. Hello again. We already did this drawing, but now, after we are familiar with how to use Swept Pass and Swept Cut, let's see how can we do this in a different way and in a faster way. So looking at this drawing, now we can create this part with one Swept Pass feature. All we need to do is that to sketch a line, then an arc, then another line, and finally our profile will be two circles, and then we will create most of the drawing in one feature. So we will start with a straight line with 150. So select all these features and suppress them for now, and start a sketch on the front plane. We'll draw a line of 150 units, and now sketch an arc, then another line. Now these lines will be equal in length, and this point and this point should be vertical, this one and this one should be horizontal, and finally the radius is 260. We have a fully defined sketch. Finish this sketch, and now let's start another sketch on the right plane. We need to draw two circles here. The first diameter is 210 and the second diameter is 290. So this one is 290 and this one is 210. Finish the sketch and go to Swept Pass. As you can see, our profile is already selected. The only thing we need to do is to select the path. And now we have all this geometry in one command. Now we can proceed with the rest as we did in the video when we created this drawing. But now you can compare the difference between the commands, and you can see that in some cases some commands are more productive. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Hello again. In this exercise we will create this model. As you can see, we will have a good practice on both sketch and sweep. Let's start, and as usual we need to define our starting point. In this case I prefer to start here. Or alternatively, you can start with this slot. Both are fine. For me, I will start here. So, start a sketch on the front plane. And we need half a circle. And the diameter is 11.5. So from the ribbon, select center point arc. And draw something like this. Give it a radius of 11.5. Then make these points horizontal. Now zoom to fit. And go back again here. As you can see, we still have this problem. So make sure you select them again and make horizontal. Now they are fine. Now we have a straight line, inclined line, straight line again. So let's start here, here, then here. Now this dimension is 14. So set this to 14. And this to 10. Now we have this angle, which is 135. So draw a center line and define this to be 135. As you can see, now we have a fully defined sketch. But still, we have a radius here, which is the fillet radius. So select fillet and set this value to 8, and then fillet here. Then hit OK. Now let's draw this slot. So select center point straight slot and draw something close to this. First of all, as you can see now, the center point of the slot is vertical with this point here. So select this point and select this point and then make vertical. Now this distance is 23.5. So set this to 23.5. And the radius is 9.75. We need to make this point coincident with this line, so simply just drag it until it gets here. Now it's midpoint and it's coincident. Now this distance here is 19.25. So from this line up to this line is 19.25. Sorry, yeah, 19.05. And now draw a central line here and draw a circle. So this diameter is 19. Now we have a tangent line here, but it's not tangent here. So draw a line and make it tangent here. Then this line and this should be coincident. This is not tangent to, so this line and the circle should be tangent. Now we need to define this angle. In this case, it will be 130 divided by 2. And we have this distance, which is 48. So from this point to this line, 48. And we're still missing the horizontal distance, which is 190. So we will divide this on 100. So this will be 190 divided by 2. And now we have a fully defined sketch. Finally, we need to draw a line here. Drag this. And drag this point Now you have one point here. As you can see, we have a 37-degree open. So let's draw a central line here, then another one here, and set this to 37 divided by 2, and mirror this central line about this central line, then trim this part. Finally, you just need to mirror everything. So mirror entities and select these and mirror them about this line. Now we will use sweep command to create this part, but the thing is that once we have intersections, the sweep doesn't work. I'll show you how. For us, this the diameter here is 4, so we will simply use a circular sweep. So sweep, let's say circular, and let's say 4. Then if you try to select the sketch, you can use this, but as you can see, you cannot go through the intersection. Again, let's try to select this, and here you can select a group, for example, but the thing is that you cannot go beyond this point. Try to finish now, and it should be continuous, a group of entities. That's why we need to go around this now. So for now, just select this part and set the diameter to 4, then hit OK. OK again. Now the sketch is hidden under this command, so show the sketch again, and here from this part, and here start a sketch on the front, and this time I want you only to convert these entities. Then hit OK. Now it's very important to hide this sketch now, and select this one, then start another sweep, circular, select these, and set this to 4. Then OK. As you can see, we created the second part now. Now I will show this again. I will start another sketch on the front, and this time I will convert this part. Then I will select it from here, start a sweep, and circular, and set it to 4. Then OK. Start another sketch on the front, convert entities, select this now. Make sure you select the last sketch you did, then sweep, circular, and set it to 4. Then OK. Now we need to do the same on the other side. So now do the same, select the front and convert this entity. Then make sure you select it, then go to sweep, circular, and set this to 4 again. Now again, start a new sketch on the front, convert this entity, make sure you select the last sketch, then set this to circular and this to 4, then OK. And the last step, front again, convert this line, OK, finish, then sweep and set this to 4 units, and here you go. Now you can make sure that view sketches is selected here, then just click the eye icon, and from here select shaded. Now this was a good practice on how to use a sweep and how to do multi-sweeps. So you need to have a continuous loop or a continuous sketch. In the case of intersections, you have to divide your sweep. In this case, we walked all the way until we got to the intersection point, and then we did this as one loop, as you saw, And here you can tell we cannot do this at the same time because we will have an intersection point here. So in some cases you need to go around the feature. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello again. It's very important to be able to define planes and axes. For now, go to the ribbon and select Reference Geometry. Select Plane. So now, as you can see, we have a message, Select References and Constraints. So we need to select 3 references. It's not all the time that we need to select 3 references to define a plane. For now, open this menu here and select Front. When you select one of these planes or any other plane, SolidWorks assumes that you want to offset this plane, creating a new one. So, as you see here, we have this offset distance. So let's set this to 50 millimeters. And as you can see, we have the front plane and we have another plane defined 50 millimeters away from it. So now you can flip the offset, or you can increase the number of the copies created. Now, hit OK. So for now, hide this plane. Now select Reference Geometry again, select the front as the first reference, and select the top as the second reference. So now, since you selected 2 perpendicular planes, SolidWorks assumes that you want to create a plane that is 45 degrees from each one of them. So if we have this view, here's the front plane, and here's the top plane, and here's our new plane. You can tell that mid-plane option is already selected, and it was automatically selected since we selected 2 perpendicular planes. Okay, now cancel. Now let's talk about creating axes. When you want to create an axis, you can do it using a line or an edge or an existing axis. We will see this in the coming few minutes. And for now, let's talk about 2 planes. When you have 2 planes, the intersection between them is a line, which is here an axis. So if you select the front, then select the top. As you can see here, this option is already activated, and this is the front, this is the top, and this is the created axis, which is the intersection between them. So now hit OK. The axis is hidden. Open this menu here and select View Axis. Now go to Reference Geometry and select Plane again. Select the front for the first reference, and for the second reference this time, select the axis. As you can see, we have 90 degrees angle between the front plane and the new one, because we have the perpendicular relation selected here. So for now, select Angle and set this to 30, for example. So what happens now is that this plane, the new one, rotates about this axis, the one we created. You can flip the offset, you can have multiple planes. For now, exit this and hide the axis, or simply show this and you can hide it from here. Now go to the front plane, start a sketch, and draw something close to this. Then extrude it. So let's go to axis again. You simply select this line, and this way you will define a new axis. Now suppress this again, and let's talk about creating a plane between this cube and this cylinder. So select Reference Geometry, Plane. Now select this face as the first reference. And for the second reference, select this cylindrical surface. Now let's have a look at the relations here. We have perpendicular. As you can tell, this plane, the new one, is perpendicular to this face, the one we selected, and as a second reference, it's tangent. So now let's select parallel. As you can see, this plane now is parallel to this face and it's tangent to this cylindrical surface. You can flip the offset, and also when you select perpendicular, you can flip the offset here. Hit OK. There's another way to create a plane. If you select 3 points, you can connect them by plane. So select this point as the first reference. For the second reference, select this point, and for the third reference, select this point. As you can see, we have a new plane. The same principle applies for selecting one line and a point, because as you can see, these 2 points can form one line. So let's do this again. So start. Now, instead of selecting the points, I want you to select the edge itself, and here just go back and select this vertex. So now we have this plane again. If you want to create a plane that lies between this surface and this plane, all you need to do is to select a plane, select this one, hold Control, and select the other one. Now we have a plane in between. And the good thing about it, if you modify this sketch now, and let's say I'll drag this, and I will drag this, something like this, you will see that it will maintain the same distance between this object to the plane and this plane to this plane. So these are what you need to know for now about creating reference geometry. In the next video, we will use this to create lofted boss feature. Hello again. In this video, we will talk about loft. Loft feature simply connects 2 sketches together. So for now, start a sketch on the front plane and draw a circle. Give it a diameter of 100 units. Then exit the sketch. Now, go to reference geometry, plane, then offset the front plane with 100 units too, then hit OK. Now we start a new sketch here on this plane and set a circle, make it tangent here, and then make these points vertical and give it a dimension of 60 and finish the sketch. Now hide this plane. So loft will connect this sketch to this one, building a geometry between them. So select loft from the ribbon. As you can see, we have a profiles. So this will be my first profile and this will be my second profile. As you can see, we have a connected geometry now. If you drag this point, it's the connecting point, this will cause the geometry to be twisted. So make sure that you have it in the right position. To do so, I recommend you to have a clear view, like for example have such a view, and drag this all the way up, and drag this all the way up. In this case, you will have this shape. As an application on this shape, when working in piping systems, sometimes you need a reducer, and in some cases, you will need an eccentric reducer, something like this. So this connects like a big diameter pipe to a smaller diameter pipe with some eccentricity, like this. So this was the first case. For now, suppress this feature. Now again, start a sketch, and this time I want you to draw a 7-side polygon. And give the inner circle a diameter of 100, and let's make this line horizontal. Then hit OK. Now go to the other plane and start a sketch there, and this time draw a circle. and give it a diameter of 60. Then OK. Now let's see what happens when we work with loft. Select loft and then select this circle and make sure to select this polygon but in a close point to this one. For example, try to select it somewhere here, not here. So I will pick this for now. Now if you right click here, you will have this option, show all connectors. As you can see, we have many connectors here, and it's really hard to control each one and put it exactly in the right position. So we need to do something different this time. For now, let's right click here and select Reset Connectors. Then hit OK. Now open this feature and select this circle. Edit the definition, and from the menus here go to Tools, to Sketch Tools, and select Segment. Segment divides your circle into segments. So basically, since we have a 7-side polygon, we need to divide this circle into 7 segments. So for now, let's set this to 7, and the entity itself will be this circle. So now I want this point to lie somewhere here. So what I will do now, from the center point here, I will draw a line, and then I will select this point, hold Control, this line, and then make coincident. Now as you can see, this point and this point lie on the same line, and it's the same with the rest of the points. This will give you a better control on the connector points. Now exit the sketch and let's go back and edit the loft. As you can see, now it's already sat here. You can simply select this and show all connectors. Hit OK. In the next video, we'll talk in more detail about loft feature. Thanks for watching. Hello again. Here we go with the second part of loft feature. For now, suppress this feature. Now, select reference geometry and select the front plane, then increase the number to 2. And let the distance between them be 100, then hit OK. Now start a sketch on the front and draw a circle and let this distance be 25. Now select the second plane and start a sketch, and this time let's draw an ellipse. So select ellipse from here, draw something like this, and give it the following dimensions. Now, finally, this point and this point should be horizontal. Then OK. And in the last section, we will go back to a circle. And let this be 25. Sorry, let it be 30. Then exit. Now, hide these planes and select the top plane and start a sketch. Now, pick 3-point arc, start from the origin here, draw an arc like this, and here draw another one up to here. And I want these to be tangent here. Now set these dimensions and finish the sketch. Now let's see how we create loft. We will use this sketch, then this one, then this one. But what if I want this loft to take the influence of this curve? So I'll go to centerline parameters and I will select this line. As you can see, the loft took the shape of this line while maintaining passing through these sections. So using this center line, you will have more control on the loft, not only with the sections, but also with this curvature here. Now select the loft and hit delete on the keyboard, and then yes. After deleting the loft feature, we still have these sketches. So suppress the last one and now start a sketch on the top plane. Now convert this and this and this and select all of them and turn them into construction geometry. Now select 3-point arc, start here and end here, and select this point and this arc and then make coincident. So now let's do something different here. And give these the following dimensions. Then finish. Now you see what we already did. So again, select the right plane, start a sketch, and the same, convert these entities, then turn them into construction geometries, and draw an arc here and another one here, and do the same on the other side. Connect these points. Now let's select loft and select these sections or profiles, then go to guide curve. So select this one and hit OK. This will be my first guide curve. Then rotate the view and select this one, and it will be my second guide curve. Now select this one and it will be my third guide curve. And finally we still have this one, then hit OK, then finish the loft. As you can see, now we have more control on the shape by using the guide curves. So now let's go back and see what we did. So we have these 3 profiles, but also we have these 2 curves, and they influence the shape of the loft, and also we have these 2 curves and they influence the shape too. So using loft you have 3 options basically. Let's go back. The first one is only to define some profiles and connect them. The second one is to use the centerline parameters, which means you'll draw one curve and it will influence the shape. And the last one, where you have more control, is to define as many as you want guide curves, and as you can see, every one of them influences the loft geometry. So that's all we need to know about loft for now, and in the next video we will see an application on how to use it to create real models. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello again. Before we proceed with loft practice, let's talk about a very important tool in a sketch environment. So select the front and start a sketch there. Now we will talk about spline. Select spline, click to place the first point, then move the mouse, click again, move the mouse again, and so on. As you can see, whenever you click, you will have another point like this. Now you can control these points by dragging them like this. Or let's talk about this tool. Click this point, zoom in, and you'll see this. Now this diamond controls the angle, as you can see. And you can control it on the other side here. And now you have this arrow, which controls only the direction. And you can control it on both sides, like this. And finally, this point here, or circle, controls both the angle and the direction. Let's say you need some control and you need another point here. In this case, right-click the curve and go here until you get Insert Spline Point. Now you just need to define the location. Let's say I need a point here and I need a point here. Then finish the command. Now select the point and you can control it as we did with the rest of the points, as you can see here and as you can see here. With working with splines, you can also add relations and dimensions. For example, you can set a horizontal distance between these 2 points, and you can set a vertical distance between them. Let's say you have a line here. Now you can, for example, merge these points, and you can define a tangent between the curve and the line. Something like this. There's another way to control the curve itself. Right-click the curve and go until you find Display Control Polygon. Now, as you can see, we have these points here. So you can control your curve using these points now. In the next video, we will see a practice on how to use spline and how to use loft at the same time. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello again. In this video, we will create a concept design for a liquid bottle. So, to start a sketch on the front. Start with a center line and give it the following dimensions. Now, draw another center line here and give it the following dimension, and set these points to be horizontal and these to be horizontal too. Now, draw another line and set the following relations and set this value to 35. Now we will start with a line here go up until 25 and here go down with 5. Now select spline and start here. Draw something like this. And now set these to be tangent here. And we need another tangent here. And I want this point with this point to be vertical. try to drag this a little bit here. And drag this here. Control the shape until it makes sense for you. Now, when you're done, select Mirror Entities, select this spline with this line and this one, and mirror them about this center line. Now finish the sketch and start a new sketch on the right plane. Now convert these entities and then turn them into construction geometry. Okay. Now draw another center line here and set these points to be horizontal and these to be horizontal too, and this distance should be 10. Now select offset entities and set this value to 10, and this time I want the offset geometry to be construction, so select this option and select this line. Reverse the offset, then hit OK. Now start with a line here and then start with another line here. Now drag this point somewhere here and select subline again. Now try to do something like this. Set these to be tangent and set these to be tangent, and finally control this point to have something like this. In the end, mirror entities and select this line, this subline, and this line to be mirrored about this center line here. Then OK. Now select the top plane, start a sketch. Now we need to connect these points. You can connect them by an ellipse, or you can simply use subline. So select this point, and this one, this one, this one. Then finish the sketch. This time select tab, then reference geometry, hold Control and go up to this point. When holding Control, SolidWorks understands that you want to create an offset from this plane, but you want it up to this point. So now start a sketch here and select spline again and connect these points. Now finish the sketch, hide this plane, then select loft. For our profiles, we need this one and this one. For guide curves, select this one. As you can see, this small part is not selected and this one is not selected. So I want SolidWorks to understand that all these three segments will form one guide curve. That's why before you hit OK, make sure to select this one and this one, then hit OK. Now rotate the view and do the same here. Then hit OK. OK again. And finally, select this part. Then finish. As you can see, this is a concept designed for a battle, but when it comes to designing battles, there are still a lot to do. Later on in this course, we will have a fully detailed video about designing a real battle. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello again. In this video, we will practice both subline and loft. We will make a 3D model of this reducer. We will insert this picture into SolidWorks and we will use it to create the 3D model. For now, go to SolidWorks, start a sketch on the front. For me, I need to use a command, but honestly, I can't remember where I can find it, so this is a good solution. Now write in sketch picture. Now, without a clicking, just click this eye here, and SolidWorks will tell you where to find this command. As you can see, it's in Tools, Sketch Tools, then Sketch Picture here. Now, navigate until you find the picture we want, and you will have it here. Now let's talk about this in the beginning. As you can see, the corner of this picture is at the origin. So if you increase this distance, you will move it in the X, as you can see here. And you can move it in the Y. You can rotate it, give it an angle. And you can define the width and the height of this picture. And finally, we use this tool to define the scale. Like, if I know that this distance, for example, let's say this is 200 millimeters, so what I will do now is that I will grab this point, I'll put it here. Now, once you grab this point, when you release it, you will get the dimension window. So this length will be 200 millimeters. Now everything is modified. This length is 200, so logically all these dimensions will be proportional to it now. Finally, and a very important thing to do, is to change the transparency. Now we will be drawing some lines here. We will need to be able to see them clearly. That's why select full image and change the transparency. Something like this. If you wish to flip the picture, you can do here, but let's keep it as is. If you're okay with these settings, then hit OK now. And let's start. Pick a line. We need to draw a line from this corner all the way up to here, and make sure to have the line vertical. Draw another line from this corner up to here, and this time I want these to be horizontal, and I want to give a length for this line and another length here. I want to fully define this line, so set a horizontal projection and then set a vertical projection. As you can see, the line is fully defined. Now set a distance between these two lines. Now, as you can see, I have a straight line here, so draw any random straight line, and the same here. And now we need to use the subline tool. So select subline and draw something like this. Let's set some relations now. We need these to be tangent, and we need these to be tangent too. As you can see, everything is fine here. Maybe you just need to drag this a little bit here. Now, do the same here. And let's try to measure this thickness. So, for example, draw a line like this, and we can tell like it's around 12. So now offset, set this to 12, and we want to offset this one. Okay, I don't want select chain to be selected. I want to reverse the direction, and only I want these three segments. And here again, I want to offset this line, but this time reverse it. Now, the reason why I offsetted these lines is that I will use the first segments here and here as guide curves to create the first loft. But as you can tell, this reducer should be empty from inside. That's why we will use the second ones to create a loft cut. So for now, turn this line and this line into construction geometry, then finish the sketch. Now let's go with the right plane, select reference geometry. Now hold Control and select this point. Now start a sketch on this plane. If your view is normal like this, just rotate it a little bit, and this time select circle, move the mouse until it snaps to the midpoint, and go all the way up until it snaps to the end point. Then place the first circle, and place another one from the same central line, but up to the offset line. Something like this. Now, finish the sketch, select this plane and offset geometry, hold Control and select this point. Now, the same thing, start a sketch here, midpoint, then go all the way up. I made a mistake here, but it's okay. Select this point with the circle, then coincident. Now, select the midpoint again and up to here. Now we are ready to create this loft. I need you to hide these, and now select loft. For the first profile, this will be my first profile, then OK. And for the second one, this will be my second one. Now, hit the space bar, go to this view, and make sure that you drag these points something like this. Now for the guide curves, I need this one. Make sure not to hit OK now. Select these three segments, then hit OK. Now this will be defined as one guide curve. Now for the second guide curve, select this straight line, then hit OK. As you can see, we have the reducer now. Go back and show all these three sketches, and this time select lofted cut. Now select the inner circle here, and OK. Select the inner circle here, then OK. The space bar, drag these up to the end. For the guide curve, select. As you can tell, now I have a problem here, and I don't want to edit this in the video. I want to show you the problem. Now let's go back to this sketch. When I offsetted these, let's see. As you can see, I have this option activated. I turned all the offsetted geometry into an construction geometry. That's why I'm not able to select it. So the solution is easy. All you need to do is to select this, to select these segments, then to turn them into real geometry, not construction. Now we are ready to go. So again, select lofted cut, select this circle, OK, this circle, OK, drag these, and for the guide curves, now as you can see, we can select them. Hit OK, and select this one, then hit OK, then finish. Now hide the sketches, and as you can tell, we have some chamfer here. Now select the front and select this view. Now start with a center line in the middle. Now draw this. Then set this angle to 45 and then close the sketch. Finish. go to Shaded with Edges, and this time select Revolved Cut, 360, then OK. Instead of Revolve Cut this part, select Chamfer from here, set this distance to be 12, the angle 45, and simply just select this edge. Then hit OK. As you can see, this is a very important application on how to use pictures to create geometries. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.